Hi, this is Michael J. Maher, the best-selling author of 7L, The 7 Levels of Communication, with the subtitle of Go From Relationships to Referrals. Today, I want to talk to you about how do we go from relationships to referrals in a way that generates a ton of referrals for you every single year from past clients you may not have even worked with but 7 years ago. So there are 3 C's to referability. How do we become referable? How are we referable? The 3 C's of referability are 1, character. We need to be honest in all things. We need to have integrity. We need to care. Now, under character, it is really doing the right thing. Then, the second C is competence. You need to do things right. And do things right means you need to master the negotiation. You need to master the paperwork. You need to master the competence pieces of this business. But the third C is where most agents, most mortgage professionals fall behind. And this is where they lose referrals. The third C is communication. We need to be able to communicate in a way that lets people know that we are of high integrity, that we do care, and that we can serve. But not only that, but we're also really competent with what we do. The 3 C's of referability are character, competence, and communication. And this next strategy is how you master communication that generates referrals. It's called the 7 steps to a successful success story. And you're going to find that you can use success stories like the Swiss Army knife of marketing. You can use this in so many different ways to generate business and referrals. You're going to love it. Number 1, the first step to a successful success story is pick a client. Now, sometimes when we help one of our thousands of coaching clients pick a client, they feel like it needs to be somebody they did some superhuman or super amazing thing for. Ladies and gentlemen, that every client in today's market that closes is a success story. Every single closing is a success story. So maybe to imagine this, just take your last closing. What was their name? And then we need to think to ourselves, what was their category? And when I say category, are they a first-time home buyer? Are they a second-time home buyer and a first-time home seller? Are they a move-up buyer? Are they a destination home or treasure home buyer? Are they a move-down or an active adult type of 55-plus buyer? Are they an investor? What were they? What category do they fit in? Then you need to think to yourself for step 2. And that is, what is the worst case scenario for that category? For example, let's say our clients were first-time home buyers. Let's call them Joe and Jill. So Joe and Jill were first-time home buyers. Now, what is the worst case scenario for a first-time home buyer? Well, the worst case scenario is that they buy a money pit. They buy the first thing they see that maybe backs to an electrical plant or a highway, or they get into a bad situation, right? They buy the first home they see because they want more space. They jump into it too quickly, right? That's the worst case scenario, is a money pit where they could lose a lot of money on the house. Now, that's the worst case scenario, and I want you to really think like nuclear case scenario and describe that as you're following through with this video. Then the next one is number 3. Step 3 is, what did you do to help them avoid the worst case scenario? With a first-time home buyer, did you sit down with them and explain what a good value is? Did you sit down and explain to them how the process works so they didn't just rush into something and buy something that maybe isn't the best investment for them? What did you do to help that client? That is step number 3. Now, step number 4 is, what were the results? Be specific. Explain how you helped them avoid the worst case scenario. Specifically, in this case, how did you have Joe and Jill avoid that money pit? Then, number 5 is, what did the client say or do to let you know you did a great job? Like the testimonial, right? This is a great excuse to get a testimonial, is let them know you're writing a story about them, and like, what would you say about your experience with my team? And so that is, what did the client say or do to let you know you did a good job? Now, of course, the best thing that they could do or say to let you know you did a good job is refer you another person. So if they did that, make sure that's in your story. because that leads to number 6, and that is ask for specific and relevant referrals. Now that may be confusing for some of you because you know we don't ask for referrals in the 7L system and the generosity generation. Well, where that really means is don't ask verbally for referrals where someone doesn't have an opportunity to get out of the situation. They feel awkward, you feel awkward. But one way to get referrals is to talk about specific people you'd like to help in your success story. So if they're first-time homebuyers, I'm going to say something like, hey, out of all the people you know, who is the next first-time homebuyer who will likely be buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Or who is the next first-time homebuyer who will be buying a home? Perhaps it's a son or daughter of a friend, perhaps it's a friend of yours, a coworker, or a colleague. That's right, those 2 sentences are going to be in my success story. Now, that is called a memory jogger. You're jogging their memory to be thinking about the specific category that you're talking about during the story, which leads to number 7. And honestly, this is just a fun story until number 7. Number 7 is call to action. You need to call them to action. So let's say you did say, out of all the people you know, who is the next first-time home buyer who will be buying a home? Perhaps it's a friend, colleague, coworker, or neighbor. The next sentence needs to say, please, while you're thinking of that person, please reply to this email if you're sending this by email, or please call me if you're sending this by postcard, or if it's on your blog, it says, please email me please email me now with the name of the person that you're thinking of. Those are the 7 steps of a successful success story, and this is the way that we can communicate in a way that shows our character and shows our competence to the point where they will get referrals. If you're looking to put together your first successful success story and you'd like some help, go to callwithcoach.com, schedule it with one of our coaches, and we will help you structure your first one. After you get the first one done, you'll be able to do this for every single closing you ever have, and all of a sudden you've got this Swiss Army knife type piece that you can use in a blog, on a postcard, on Facebook, in an email, whatever it may be. The bottom line is schedule a coaching call with callwithcoach.com. Let us help you. We'd love to help you structure your next success story. Thank you.